Today's security conference in Kyiv opened with a poignant rendition of the national anthem. After 15 months of war, still no end to a nation's suffering. What followed was a rabble-rousing round of speeches from guests, including from a man with rock star status in Ukraine.
It's very, very clear that a lot of people now are saying that the war that Putin started can only end in negotiation. And I say, well, that may very well be true. But before any negotiation, this war can only end, must end, shall end, will end with the victory of the Ukrainian people and the expulsion of Putin's armies and the end of his barbaric attempt to take Ukrainian territory.
There were multiple calls today for Ukraine's territorial integrity to be restored and for Russia to pay reparations. There were also multiple calls for President Putin to appear before a war crimes tribunal. And there was this message for African nations wavering in their support for Ukraine.
Well, this is very strange that these nations are supporting Russian Federation, because we have something in common with many, many nations across African continent, because we are fighting right now for our ability to make our own choices, for our ability to build our own future. And on the path to that ability, unfortunately, the former colonial power and imperial state, Russian Federation, wants to reconquer us. And I hope that this is better and better understood by the African nations. And moreover, we as Ukrainians, we are a very, very peaceful nation. We have never ever attacked anyone in our history, and we are only defending ourselves. And right now, we would be willing to, we would prefer to focus on harvesting our crops and being able to deliver them to all those nations in need. But unfortunately, because of the Russian actions, because of Russian war, and because of them blocking the tiny possibility of export through the grain corridor, we cannot help others on different continents, including those countries in Africa. And so therefore, that's why we believe that African nations should stand with us, and we together can push against Russian Federation and can push on the ability for us to have just normal, open trade and friendly relations with different countries in Africa.
As for the war, in the southeast, mercenary commander Yevgeny Prigozhin says he's withdrawing his fighters from Bakhmut and handing over to the regular Russian army. It's thought at least 20,000 of his men have lost their lives fighting for a city now bombed to dust. And in the Edelweiss Field Hospital near the front line in the Donbass region, a small team of medics from the 10th Mountain Assault Brigade are patching up and shipping out Ukrainian soldiers injured in the ongoing battle for the Bakhmut region. While politicians in Kyiv talk of victory for Ukraine, a reminder that winning a war comes at a high human cost. John Cookson, Arise News, Kyiv, Ukraine.